All right. Hey guys, Brandon Drums from Virtual Armory here, talking about base kits with the forearm brace. How to assemble them and also how to use them. So first off, when you guys get this, it'll come in 3 pieces, and it's really quite an easy assembly. The main piece of the stock is as simple as this. It comes in the package with this detached. You place it on this gear, use the included screw to bolt back through, and this is also an adjustment point. So now you have the you have the thing assembled, and now you have the forearm brace. So as I have it now, I have this dovetail joint. It's really meant as a glue joint. It adds quite a bit of size when shipping, because I actually straightened this out to minimize the vertical space of the package. And I also don't want things to break, so I ship this separately. So you can attach this. Technically, it's a temporary. You can use it dry without super glue. I'm going to include some super glue for you. You can shove this down, tap it on. That should stay pretty tight. Eventually, it'll probably get loose. So it is meant to be glued on. So just kind of putting that out there for you. So some people, once they try the forearm brace, they realize, maybe I want to keep that offhand more free, and this allows them to not have that attached for a cleaner look. But of course, it's always detachable. If you remove the forearm brace from the gear joint, you'll just have a gear hanging out here. Again, I'm working on ideas of how to kind of re-engineer this to maybe make it a cleaner bolt through, maybe with an additional swing adjustment. I'm not quite there yet. Anyway. So that's assembly, and I'm just going to kind of put this here. This is actually a customer's brace. So you have quite a few points of adjustment to get this adapted to your play style. So first off, we have this gear, which actually holds on the whole brace to the cup. It is bolt through. These are solid chunks of plastic, pretty tried and true. The thing doesn't, once you get the gears tight, they are incredibly strong. There's so many teeth that are engaging. But you want to get this nice and tight with a screwdriver, not by hand, and that'll be locked in there. Next up, we have this tilt adjustment. So left and right tilt, or really pan or yaw, if you want to call it, aviation or camera terms. So you can get that angle adjusted as well. A lot of games lack that adjustment, and you'll find that they'll have different alignments with the hand. So that's really helpful to have. Of course, you have length adjustment. This particular version is called the Alpha version. It's the shortest. It has the shortest distance, the shortest default length. Of course, you can extend it out. If you want longer, you'll want to check out a Bravo or even Charlie upgrade pack that extends this piece, to like medium and large lengths, respectively. And that'll, in talking about the different sizes, the other different piece, this is the Alpha version. It's a shorter butt end, allows you to sweep past the wrist. I do have a longer piece that's included with the Bravo and Charlie versions, the medium and large size. It's more of a simulation tail end. Some people like that taller feel, allows you to get into armpit. They'll restrict a little bit of wrist movement. You'll have to bend your wrist a little bit more, but those are also included with the upgrade packs if you buy an Alpha version and want to go bigger. So continuing with the adjustments. So I have some customers that might aim with one hand, but then, hold the controller with one hand and aim with the other. So doing something like this, where we adjust, this allows you to keep that butt end really aligned with your shoulder, even if you're bringing everything all the way over. Just kind of continuing here. So different angles up and down, or different positions with your hand. Maybe you like it down here, maybe you like it up here. And you want this piece to sit nice and flush. That's what this last adjustment is for. Getting that nice flush feel against your shoulder, so you don't have something poking into you. It gets it nice and comfortable for you. So kind of continuing on, there's a couple more adjustments to talk through. So you have this back end adjustment. This allows you to tilt the whole controller. So maybe you play with a little bit of an offset, and you want to lean the gun in or lean the gun out, or some people still play with it vertically but want this to lean it a little bit to engage the armpit a little bit more but still get you to the cheek. That's what this is for. course, the cheek weld is height adjustable, pretty self-explanatory, but it's also angle adjustable. So as you play around with these different angles, instead of having it like pointing up and being uncomfortable, you can loosen that and it'll tilt for you. So what you want to do is make sure, once again, all the geared connections are nice and tight. So that makes it really solid, and it won't break that way. If you're just hand tightening with the knobs are really just for convenience, and as well as looks. It looks a bit cleaner, and it also helps not indent the plastic too much. The knobs are really just to hold the opposite end while you screw it in with a screwdriver. I don't include a screwdriver. I've looked into it, wanted to get some branded screwdrivers that were cheap enough. Still looking into it, but don't include it quite yet. But as long as everything's nice and tight, this thing's rock solid. It's meant for a competition style brace where people have a faster play style, specifically on games like Contractors and Breachers, where you're having to grab other objects besides just the gun, eliminating all the clips that you have to go through, all the loose pieces that might cause a little bit of play. This thing's rock solid as long as it's tight, and it will be durable for you. The only piece that is really exposed, and this was really designed to kind of minimize that, as well as a couple other things I'll talk about in a minute, is the forearm brace. It is in front of your controller. If you play in a small space, you can smash it up against the wall. It might eventually break. That's where we talk about super glue. So I will ship replacement parts. I will have a listing for replacement bits, and it'll be affordable. But something like this, a really high quality CA glue. Bonus points if you use a CA glue activator. You can often glue these things back and have the glue joint be stronger than the print was to begin with. I'll demonstrate perfectly for you. Here's one that I've been playing with for a while. I usually play with it. It's actually an old version that I no longer sell. I might reintroduce it. It's a little bit cheaper, a little bit fewer parts, not quite as many adjustments. But anyway, same forearm brace design and this was a prototype, so I didn't print this as a solid piece like I do on the ones for my customers. And so it's broken here, and I've glued it back, and it's incredibly strong. And every time I glue it back, dab a bit of spray on it, it ends up stronger than it was to begin with. Eventually I might have to replace it, but this has allowed me to keep it going for a very long time. I think I've broken it maybe 10 times. I play in a smaller space though. I have customers that play really hard and heavy, and they've never broken it because I never slammed it into anything. And if you don't slam it into anything, it shouldn't break. So yeah, that's about repairs. You don't need too much of this stuff. I'm happy to talk with you on Discord about how to do this, do seminars if need be. But ultimately, yeah, that's how this product works, or how it goes together. So next up is how it actually functions. A lot of people have questions about the forearm brace. It's actually quite simple. I'm also going to demonstrate how the strap works here. So the strap simply goes around the ring, and we will have a version for Quest 3 that doesn't have a ring, that has the strap integrated with the handle. But anyway, here you go. So nice and comfortable, easy maneuverability. And then when you go to aim down sight, you're going to mount it about there. Never mind my wound. It's a scratch from a long story. But yeah, so you basically use it like this. So it'll rest up against your arm. That leaves this wrist being the only piece that's really free to move, and you can easily tune that in and have really great muscle memory. That's what the forearm brace does. I will point out that you need to have 2 bolts engaged with this. It's not designed to just max out to just having one single bolt. It will break. If you have 2 bolts, it'll be pretty solid. You can take these little knobs off and have it work all right just in the last 2. But I really kind of encourage to have 3. So 1 bolt here, skip 1, and so that'd be the maximum length of this. I make a longer version of this if you like. But yeah, once you get used to it, it's basically like this. Not like that, not like this, not grabbing it. It's up against your arm. And that allows you to have very fast freedom of movement, reloading without restriction, pistol grips without, holding it like a pistol without restriction. reloading here. It's a I've honed this in over a long time. That's why I think it's becoming pretty popular, and I'm actually not even really promoting it like I should be. But that's it. That's the Ulti brace with the forearm attachment, as well as without the forearm attachment. I'll make a separate video talking about the front end attachment accessories and how those work. Thanks so much.